I've been ill for the past fucking week. It's just wonderful. Don't even think I'm 100% right now, but barely remember any of the voices I did for the characters, which is a problem. Mr. Wright. Huh? What? Trials always like this with you. Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake about to reach the surface. But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there. Pretty much. Except today we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister anyway? Apparently she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny insignificant piece of cloth. Oh, you're starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner. They say you show a red cloth to a bull. It'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a young'un, at least. Officer Marshall. Thought I'd come take a look-see at how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. You've got the home ranch locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. That hard to slip out. Nah, that hard to slip out, huh? What is going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days have been really on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worried about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now, don't that just beat all? I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day, too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the awards ceremony that afternoon. Edgeworth's seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? Photograph taken at the crime scene. She wasn't wearing a scarf. So, Miss Starr wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I can hook you up with some fine ribs. Hoo-wee. I'd like to resume. What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. There's something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be. This can't happen. Wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth.
Well then, I believe it is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable. It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself.
Excuse me. Knock knock.
Who's there?
What's with this guy? A strange stuffy aura seems to be filling the courtroom. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he?
Oh, it's you!
Oh,
Sorry I'm late, RG. The roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see, RG. How you been? Swimming much these days? Hello. Oh, I've been so busy. Busy, RG. My boy, you have to make time to relax. Yes, indeed.
Haji seems to be his nickname for the judge. I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you?
So, you're Wright-o, the attorney I've heard good things about. I've heard good things about you, son.
Thanks?
So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should go swimming together sometime, jolly?
Little worthy?
Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police?
Chief of police?
He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it?
Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fella. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. Sinistar wasn't just seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was stuffed into that exhaust pipe. On little Worthy's car, no less. It's really quite embarrassing, even for us.
What's this?
It's what you'd call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this.
Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth? How could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? If your investigators are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job?
Now wait a minute, Worthy.
I've no desire to hear your excuses.
I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document, where it says, person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature is there. Miles Edgeworth.
That's not fair. On the day of the crime, I had...
Your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel.
but you are the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made.
This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words.
This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. The court accepts this new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first.
Yes?
Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife.
Blade, Your Honour? I don't see why not.
Could you open it up for me, I wonder?
Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push that switch and...
If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore.
Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point it at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. Just let me do it myself, I could do it much faster. Don't scare me like that. No one is scared. Look at this knife blade. The tip is broken off. A dark red stain. Blood?
This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us? There. About the split between the prosecutors and the police and this knife.
Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. It was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department, see? What a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it.
There was a murder at the police department? A detective?
That's hush-hush information, Archie. We haven't exactly announced it yet.
Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order! Order! Order!
Anyway, we at the department were all flustered, as you might well assume. We are in the middle of a top secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay?
I think we understand the police department situation. Well, Mr. Wright?
3 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. Chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness.
Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand.
Right.
Excuse me, special? Not to come by this particular knife anywhere else?
Might that special thing be this little tag?
Oh, sorry, Righto, but I can't say that now. Not that. You established that the knife in Goodman's chest was this knife. Now, why was there another knife at the scene of the crime? That's quite a mystery. And like a mystery, it's wrapped in something. A muffler. This knife was found on the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on at the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto.
Maybe there's something about the knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine that knife while we can, Righto.
Evidence that links this knife to Detective Goodman.
I think perhaps the pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that's had me stumped all this time.
So, how were things down at the department?
Investigation.
Something happened at the police department too, huh? You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp. Hungry. So, something did happen, and why wasn't I informed? Why weren't you informed? Well, why didn't you ask? No matter. I understand. You were busy, what with Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened at the police department that day? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact. Surprising, isn't it, Archie? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, Righto. I suppose I could help, if you help me by giving me data on your case. Oh, good one. This kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and only one thing. So tell me, where was the victim found? Well, I can't speak on where the corpse was found, but I can say the crime took place in the evidence room at the police department. The evidence room? You wouldn't know about the evidence room, would you, Righto? Can't say I've ever heard of it. Guess I should ask again once I learn a bit more about this evidence room. There's something stranger about this than the place where the body was found. Time of death. 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence. This is just my gut feeling.
but I'd say there's a 0.001% chance of that happening.
Chief Cat, please tell us more about the incident. How can you say there's no connection? Because I'm the Chief of Police. I can't just say anything. Please, Righto. You understand? Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove there is a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties the two murders together. There it is. I better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15. One at the prosecutor's office, one at the police department. It can't be a coincidence.
That knife. What was it doing there?
Better check this knife out.
There's a small tag on the knife. It says SL9 What's that supposed to mean?
I'm not sure, but it reminds me of a similar code. DL6? Maybe it's a case number.
That's weird.
What?
I don't remember where. I think I've seen something like this before. Something similar to what's written on this tag. Wasn't that long ago either.
Maybe I should check the court record again. Oh, whatever. Wait a second. At last. An honest-to-goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? An honest-to-goodness, what do you mean from Argy? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL-92. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S 12-2? Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside. The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. But turn it around and what do you get? Oh! Whoever wrote this note was holding the paper upside down. SL-9. That's the same thing that is written on the knife's tag. Water! Water! Well, Chief?
Well. I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto.
I win?
What game is this guy playing?
So this knife... Oh, I should have read that, shouldn't I? So this knife was stolen?
Yes.
But on the day of the murder? It was evidence, you see. Was it, in fact, a murder weapon? Nice, nice. Nice, good show. Little worthy. It was a murder weapon, as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved.
So
So this knife was stolen on the day of the murder. It was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car?
Hard to think there isn't a connection there.
That was a bad day for the department. You weren't... Yep.
Something else again.
How can you say there's no connection?
How?
Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand? I do understand, Righto.
Didn't I just...
Fine, whatever.
Something again.
On the same day that I did it, another police department, effect, rising.
No, it's apply for a thing.
Said that before, didn't I? Evidence room. Wait a second. I've heard of that.
The evidence room? Didn't he mention that in his testimony just now?
Going the same things again and again. This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. There's the connection between the two cases.
You seem happy, Mr. Wright.
Happy? Happy. We just got handed our ticket to go to town on this case. With the link between the two cases established, we finally have some leverage. Now we can get Gant to testify about the details. Oh. Chief, the defense's position is simply this. The connection between these two cases has already been proven. You don't say. Well, out with it, Righto. What's your connection? Yes, out with it, Mr. Wright. Connection is a place mentioned in the testimony we just heard. The knife found in the lot was stolen from the police department's evidence room. Not to mention the victim had on him the case number on the knife's evidence tag. And we also know that the detective murdered at the police department was killed in that very same evidence room. Indeed. There do seem to be too many connections for it to be a coincidence. You two make a good pair. It took my men 2 days to find out what you've deduced right here. Chief, I request that you release your information on the victim at the police department. See, that's the tricky part. It hasn't been announced yet and all. Can we get the information unofficially? Sure, why not? It's unofficial after all. What, really?
Who would have guessed?
I'll cooperate, but I can't reveal the name of the victim at the department, okay?
If you're going to tell us a little, why not tell us everything?
Ah well, case information is sticky stuff. You have to do everything properly.
Guess I might as well try and get what I can out of him. Okay, how about you tell me the victim's ID number?
Sure, why not? It's not like you'll be able to tell who it is from that.
Of course not. You won't tell me their name after all.
We keep a tight lid on ID numbers, so don't go getting your hopes up. The number is 5842189.
Well, that's quite long.
And we have to remember these. It drives me nuts.
82. I can't do it.
Didn't even get that first number right.
Well, Mr. Wright, does this tell you anything?
Does it tell me? 5842189. The ID number on the victim at the police department. 5842189. Actually, it does, Your Honour. It does. I think.
Meaning?
Has to be what I think it is. But what does this mean?
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say. You say that the ID number on the detective who was murdered at the police department tells you something. What does it tell you?
Witness?
What is it, Mr. Wright? You're grinning like a schoolgirl on prom night.
No, it's just... I got confused.
And this is news. Huh? Just come out with both your guns blazing like you always do. Police department. The prosecutor's office. 2 places. 2 detectives murdered at one time. Actually, I happen to have a police ID number here.
Oh, is it yours?
No, Your Honour. I'm a defence attorney, remember? This is the ID number of our victim, Detective Goodman.
Shame on you, Righto. Personal IDs are top secret.
Detective Goodman's ID number is 5842189.
And this means what exactly?
Huh?
Wait, that ID number we heard from the chief earlier. That started with 82. I've forgotten.
You didn't even get the first number right again. The number the chief of police gave us was 5842189.
Wait a second, Wright. What does this
mean? That's what I want to know. The 2 ID numbers are identical. In other words, the detective killed in the police department's evidence room was Bruce Goodman. What does our witness think about that?
Sharp as a tack, righto. Sharp as a tack.
But wait, Detective Goodman is our victim. He was killed at 5:15 in the underground parking lot.
Yet Detective Bruce Goodman was also killed at the police department, in the evidence room at the exact same time.
That's impossible. So what we're saying is the same person was killed at the same time and in a completely different location. Order! 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 Chief, what does this mean? No, what I want to know is, why didn't I hear about this? Yes, it's top secret, fine, but I'm the prosecutor in charge of the case.
Now, just wait a second, Worthy. No need to get all flustered.
Your Honor, the police department has made a grave error in this case.
Wait. I said wait. Or didn't you hear me? The oversight, the grave error. Mr. Edgeworth, they're yours.
What? How dare?
We informed you yesterday. I believe it was our Officer Meekins who brought you the news.
Officer Meekins?
Mr. Wright, where have we heard that name before? Wait, Excuse me, but is this Mr. Edgeworth? Anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I got your report, sir.
You don't mean him?
According to Meekins, you didn't accept the report. Not to believe.
But your officer, he told me. He said that the report had nothing to do with the Lana Sky incident.
Detective Bruce Goodman murdered in the police department evidence room? Mr. Edgeworth, the victim's name is written right on top of the report.
Yep. Why didn't your officer tell me?
Honestly, I'm not sure if that officer was capable of making the connection. He did seem challenged.
In any case, this is a serious error, a gross negligence of duty on your part, Worthy.
But sir, you could have submitted this report this morning to the court as evidence. Then I...
No such luck this time, Worthy. Or should I say, unworthy? Hi.
What?
Now, what was the second rule of evidence law,
Well, Mr. Wright?
Oh, well, it's,
Rule 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And how is this rule relevant?
Normally you'd submit a list of evidence to be used in court before the trial. This report wasn't on that list.
So, what does this mean?
I couldn't submit this evidence until a connection was proven in court. The connection was just proven by Wright over here. Good job, Wright, my boy. Huh? I was just doing my job.
No. No! It seems we have come to the end of this trial.
I know you're going through a tough time, Worthy. What with all those rumors? You were even in the defendant's chair just this past December.
I apologise for this terrible lack of due diligence on my part. Mr. Edgeworth, please, just give me one day. I'll get to the bottom of what happened. It's the last thing I do.
You'd better get results this time, really.
You have my profound apologies, sir.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth.
I don't think there's ever been an error this serious in the history of this court. I will grant one further day as the prosecution has requested. Will that be sufficient, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honour. Thank you.
Whatever your punishment for this is, for your sake I hope it's not decisive. Very well. Court is adjourned.
There was more. God, I like doing Cat's voice though.
Mr. Wright, so what's going on with the case anyway? I'm a little confused.
Huh? Well, let's see. What is going on? The victim, Detective Bruce Goodman, was stabbed to death after 5 p.m. on the 21st. He died in the prosecutor's parking lot and the police department's evidence room.
What's this in the evidence room part? Prosecutor's office and the police department are 30 minutes apart by car.
Well, that's what we're going to find out. At least, or try to at least.
Alright, let's do it.
And she's in good spirits, and I'm not sure she's going to be much help with us.
Don't be so sure, Mr. Wright.
Huh?
Look, we're in this together, right? I'll prove that these thick-rimmed glasses of mine aren't just for show. Let's go. Science awaits us. You know, I really don't think we should worry about the police department murder. There wasn't even a body found there. Who cares?
Yeah, it was only our victim who was killed in their evidence room. No biggie.
Besides, my sister would never do such a thing. I know it.
And that oil drum, was it empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor is brimming with water.
I think you forgot what voice I gave her.
My sister raising evidence at the crime scene. Never.
Even though she says they don't get along, Emma really likes her sister.
That's not it at all. It's just... we're both professionals at what we do, and I trust her.
Big worse for a high school student. Oh, whether there was blood on the floor or not, the water in that oil drum washed it all away.
Ignore the strength of my science at your own peril, Mr. Wright.
Huh? What's that grin for?
This situation calls for one thing, and that is luminol testing fluid.
Luminol?
Blood is sticky stuff, you know. You can't just wash it away with a little water. Even if you can't see it, it's still there.
Wouldn't the police have already done these tests?
Never trust anyone's eyes but your own, Mr. Wright. Just give it a try.
Me? Why do I have to do it?
I'm a minor. I can't even drink yet.
Testing bloodstains with this stuff, not drinking it.
Here, look. I'll lend you these glasses.
Huh? You had an extra pair of those things?
To test for a blood reaction, just spray the luminol on it. Like this, see? Okay, let's find us some bloodstains.
can see her eyes shining behind those glasses. So, is this a blood stain?
So...
Emma, you're shaking.
It's just... This is my first time seeing real blood.
Scientific investigation in action.
Okay, well, we definitely know that this is a bloodstain. But doesn't something strike you as odd? Scientifically speaking, of course.
What's odd about this, scientifically? The amount. The perpetrator and Detective Goodman fought here, right? Don't you think there'd be a little more blood?
I definitely think so. I mean, look at all the blood on the sole of the victim's shoe.
It is pretty strange. They fought here, they'd have to have been... There'd have to have been more blood than this.
Hey, Mr. Wright. I'm gonna mark up the floor plans when we find a blood stain, okay? See, I'm pretty handy to have around, right?
Yeah, this stuff's pretty handy too.
Saved up my allowance to buy that. Can't be sure that the police will reveal all their evidence in court. Sometimes they fail to mention evidence that doesn't fit with their view of the case.
Let's drag that hidden evidence out into the light of day.
Yeah. Feels like we're really investigating crime now, doesn't it?
Guess I should give this a spray on anything suspicious. Huh?
I wondered how that fluid of yours would react to a nice deli box. Mister! And you only trust your own eyes, and not bad, you two. This stale deli box is on the house.
Sorry, it's just that kind of lead-in doesn't really get my mouth watering.
You certainly put me in a tight spot today.
My apologies, Miss Starr, but...
No, it's okay. It was my fault. Oh, we know. I witnessed everything from that security room right there. But I was afraid that wouldn't sound convincing enough, you see. I was wrong to think that. I'm sorry. Sorry? You lied on the witness stand. That's unforgivable. Little gal, don't forget what's important here. Even if the place I witnessed the events from was different, I still saw what I saw. I saw Chief Prosecutor Sky stab a man in cold blood, and that testimony still stands. I swear it on my honor as a detective. She stabbed Goodman.
I know this photograph has something important to tell us, but what?
So, you were a detective, weren't you, Miss Starr? Yes. It was a long time ago. Well, 2 years ago. No matter how hardened the criminal, when they faced me, they coughed it up.
Coughed it up?
They confessed. They babbled like babies. You know, I may seem like a demon sometimes, but I can be an angel too.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Every day I drag the dirt out of the mouths of suspect after suspect, and before long they called me the cough-up queen. Oh, and here I thought someone had gotten food poisoning from your lunches.
And you were let go? Fired?
Felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if these prim and proper prosecutors hadn't let me go, I'd still be one today. It's all because of that case. The SL9 incident.
SL9? Wait, she doesn't mean...
What do you think about this? The SL9 incident. It's written on that knife. And on that note. Goodman. Goodman was the head detective on that case, you know. Really? That knife was evidence from that case. The murder weapon. It was due for transferal the very day that Goodman was killed. As I suspected, SL9 isn't over. Not yet.
Do you think you could tell us more about the SL9 incident?
If you think about it, I could have taken that picture from the guard room. But even I get flustered sometimes.
So you went straight to the scene of the crime.
I rushed towards the chain link fence in an effort to stop the murder. That's when I took this photo, yes. In other words, 5 minutes after the crime. Those 5 minutes are the whole problem. A hole in my testimony, as it were. 5 minutes weren't the problem, Miss Starr. You lying was the problem. Listen, little girl. I've had my testimony disregarded before, and I wasn't going to have it disregarded again. Just like that time.
That time?
Well, that incident really opened up my eyes to the truth. We're nothing to them. Disposable. Disposable? To who? 2 years ago, it was the biggest case I'd ever handled. The police and the prosecutors were desperate for decisive evidence. So, they didn't solve it? On the contrary, it was solved quite cleanly. The criminal was caught and executed.
Executed?
Yes, the criminal got what was coming to him. It doesn't get any cleaner than that. The only problem was, they never did find decisive evidence. Not a shred.
What? But the criminal was executed, right?
On the basis of it.
Yeah.
On the basis of evidence of a sort. Made up evidence. What? You mean they executed someone with fabricated evidence? The best part came several months after the trial. Every detective involved with the case was dealt with. Some were demoted to patrolman, others found themselves out of a job. And you were one of those. Myself and one other person you know well.
Wait, could it be?
Exactly. Detective Jake Marshall. Oops. I mean, Police Department Security Detail Officer Jake Marshall. As professional detectives, we investigated that case from every angle. Jake was particularly determined. Then, it was over, and he was demoted. However, he hasn't forgotten, and neither have I.
You haven't forgotten SL9?
There was another side to that case, a hidden side. That's what we're after now. And no one up in their fancy offices can stop us. Wait. Those lunches you sell. There is only one reason I come to sell lunches in this accursed office. I come here to meet old friends, boyfriends that can help me investigate.
Miss Star's old boyfriends. How many does she have anyway? Just when all the detectives on SL9 have disappeared, we find new evidence.
There has to be a connection. So, Rookie.
What?
Seems like you're serious about investigating this case.
Yes.
Then you should take this.
There.
Then you should take this.
Salisbury steak lunch?
I know a certain guy who might help you if you tempt him with this treat. Miss Starr, Officer Marshall, is he your, are you his... Are you going out? Why do you want to know? I was just wondering what happened to him. A long time ago when he was helping my sister do cases, he was so nice. He got along so well with my sister, it made me jealous. And he was nice to me too back then.
This would be when Officer Marshall was a detective.
Now he's so cold. Jake and I are merely cooperating on this investigation. We're putting the past to rest, as it were. Nothing more than that. I see. Thank you.
Officer Jake Marshall. It's even busier here today than it was yesterday.
The detectives are running around so fast they're blurring.
Suppose it makes sense. Detective did get killed here after all.
So, the evidence room, the scene of the crime. According to the pamphlet we got at the front desk. Here it is.
She's like a kid in an amusement park.
Ooh, real crime scene. Let's go take a look.
Can I? Nope. Blue Badger is still writhing around today. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's dancing. Speaking of dancing, the police department has been dancing around like crazy since yesterday.
Can I take out his batteries? I just can't help but feel he's going to do something naughty.
Whoa, everyone looks deadly serious here.
Well, there was a vicious murder of a detective down at the police department.
Yes, but the same detective was also killed at the same time in the prosecutor's lot.
Makes my head hurt.
Well, first things first. Let's check out the police department crime scene.
Yes, you sound dead set on investigating. But don't mess up or we could wind up dead.
Doubt anyone wants more mysteries or dead bodies around here right now. Doesn't look like anyone's going to help us much either. What's with the decor in this place? It's very eccentric.
According to the pamphlet, this is the guard station for the evidence room.
So beyond that door is the evidence room. Scene of the crime.
Sure seems that way. Oh,
What's wrong?
it's those cacti. They're so prickly, so imposing. It's hard to think straight.
Can't handle the cacti. Stay out of the desert. What I want to know is, if this is a guard station, where's the guard?
I have a feeling I know who he is already. Look, on the floor, a lasso.
Looks like it's set up to trap something.
Trap here? Wait, I know. Maybe someone was trying to catch a wild bull in here. But the lasso missed.
You sure have an active imagination. Can I just go in? The evidence room is beyond that door.
Let's just walk in. It won't open.
You thought it'd be open. I think we need someone's permission to go in there first. I can probably just... okay. This place is charged with frantic energy as always. Please!
Wasn't that...
One steak lunch, please. Oh, it's you.
Detective Gumshoe?
Now's no time for chit-chat, pal. I'm a busy man. All I really need is a steak lunch from Lunchland.
Oh, you mean one of these? Actually, it's not for sale.
I think I just heard the sound of his heart breaking.
Oh, now's no time for despair. We caught our criminal. Now we just need evidence.
The criminal? You mean...
You heard about the stabbing in the police department evidence room, right, pal?
On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect?
Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact.
It's the biggest scandal to hit the station in ages. Everything's topsy-turvy.
But Detective Gumshoe, who was it?
Listen, pal, all I know is I need my steak lunch pronto. Standing around here talking isn't going to fill my belly.
Wait, don't leave.
Want no more, head on down to the detention centre, pal. Questioning should be over, so I figured he's down there having a good cry. Later.
He ran off to the evidence room.
Well, this investigation is off to a running start.
Still, I do feel better about things. A little. I mean, they caught the person who stabbed Detective Goodman, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess they did. Best to not go too far down that road right now. Things will just get confusing.
What was that?
Sir, that's what I'm saying. Me, a perpetrator. I'd say I was the perpetrated against, sir. That's what I'd say, sir. I'd say... There. Hi. Greetings, sir.
Wait, I know who you are.
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth anywhere on the premises? I'm here, sir, at the request of the chief, sir. I've got your report, sir.
Officer Meekings? So you're a guard here at the detention centre?
No, sir, I'm not, sir. I'm a little lost patrolman, like a little lost lamb, sir.
Oh, I get it. You're here to deliver a report.
no, sir. How should I say this? Why, he isn't, is he? You? Officer Meekins. You didn't, did you? The perpetrator, Officer Meekins! Reporting, sir!
What? What?
Now, this is an unexpected turn of events. Sir, I'm a patrolman with General Affairs, sir! Sir! Oh, I can hear you fine, Officer Meekins. I had some business that day, sir, and so I went to the evidence room, sir. The guard station in front of the room was empty, sir.
So normally there's a guard at the evidence room.
That's right, sir, because evidence is kept in the evidence room, sir. And the security officer was none other than Officer Marshall. Marshall? Then, sir, I happened to glance at the security room monitor. That's when I saw him, sir. A suspicious person in the evidence room. A suspicious person, sir. A suspicious person. Yow! The heck is this guy doing?
So, what happened then?
After that, sir, everything went white. I saw red. I blacked out. And when I came to, I was here in the detention centre. Were you out? Days?
Might I ask, what happened to your hand?
Sir, there was no one to bandage me, sir. So I did what I could to wrap it up, sir. Bandage on his hand. Just like Miss Sky.
Yet another similarity between this case and the one at the prosecutor's office.
First things first. Tell us how you hurt your hand. Oh, your hand. Did that happen during the course of the crime? Well, you see, sir,
Don't you think you should just confess?
But sir, there was nothing I could do. Nothing you could do? Sir, to tell the truth, sir, when it happened, when the detective pointed that knife at me, I just hollered, sir. And the next thing I knew, I was unconscious. The next thing you knew, you were... Huh? And when I opened my eyes, I was alone in the evidence room, sir. All alone. Alone because Detective Goodman had disappeared.
What? What?
Then, when I looked down, I was gushing blood from my hand, sir. Oh, the shock. Oh, the sorrow, sir. Can you imagine how I felt? The victim's body disappeared.
That's some story.
I don't mean to pry, but you are the perpetrator, correct? You killed Detective Bruce Goodman in the evidence room, right? Sir, please don't look at me with those sad puppy dog eyes, sir. If you have to label me as a perpetrator or victim, sir, then label me victim. I would, but you happen to be in detention and alive and well at that. Ah, yes. Well, that's true, sir. I suppose you could say that. Did you know the victim, Detective Goodman? Well, sir, if I had to label him as a stranger or a total stranger, then I'd say he leans heavily on the total stranger side. So you didn't know him? Sir, I work in a tiny department devoid of light or other creature comforts. I don't know any detectives.
So, if he was a total stranger, why did you stab him?
Sir, I had no intention of killing him, sir. None. Nor do I have any recollection of killing him, sir. At least someone around here is more confused than I am. Sir Meekins, this is for you.
I'm scared of knives, sir.
It's okay, I just wanted you to take a look.
That's it, sir. Last night, sir. That's the one.
I was an apple, sir,
In my dream, sir. And I was being peeled. On second thought, you don't have to look at the knife.
It's overacting to the knife, but I guess he's been through a lot.
Do you think you could take a look at this? Hey. That's it, sir. That's it. That's it. That's what? My head was a blank until this very moment. But, sir, now I remember. I remember, sir.
You mean you remember what happened?
Correct. That card was the cause of it all. This ID card? Exactly, sir. That's exactly it. Nothing could be more exact, sir. Nothing.
I'd better pry into this one a little deeper. Can you tell me what it is you do remember?
Well, sir, you might say I'm a little lost patrolman. A lost little lamb, if you will. I didn't know Mr. Detective Goodman, who was in the evidence room. And that's why you
thought he looked suspicious?
Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to show me his ID card. Well, that sounds pretty much by the book so far. That's right, sir. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card. What did he do?
That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me. What? Sir, I assure you I was as flustered as you are right now. So I whooped and leapt at him.
Detective Goodman pointed a knife at him.
Do unto others before they do unto you. My own father's words, sir. What happened then? Well, my eyes, sir, everything went white. When I awoke, I was here.
Right.
So, Officer Meekins, why was it that they arrested you?
What do you mean, Emma?
Let's look at what we know. Now, Officer Meekins didn't know Detective Goodman. And the victim who he met at the scene of the crime didn't show his ID card.
In other words, we have no way of knowing if the victim really was the victim. Was really the victim even. Ugh.
And if this body just disappeared from the evidence room, we don't even know if anyone actually died. That's it, sir. That's what I wanted to say. That is, I did say something along those lines. Huh? But you still ended up here. They told me that it had to be him, sir, on that day, at that time. Detective Goodman was definitely in the evidence room. That's what they said.
But you don't remember the events clearly.
No, but the videotape is quite clear. Huh? Videotape? From the security camera. The crime! My crime! The crime I swore to stamp out! It's there! It's me! It's on tape! And you waited until now to tell us this? I'm sorry. Really sorry, sir. I'll hand over my badge. I don't deserve it.
No thanks. I have my own. Well, I guess we'd better go check out the crime scene.
God, it's been...
Did not need that week off.
Hey, Mr. Wright, look who's standing at the Chief of Detectives desk.
It's Police Chief Gant. And you're sure this is all, You know what it means if there's anything missing.
Sir, I'm sure it's most likely totally perfect. We checked all of his drawers, lockers, garbage cans, bins, under his seat cushions, behind his computer monitor, inside his personal coffee machine.
I see. Well, if anything does turn up, you call me right away. Deal?
Yes, sir. We'll scour the place again, sir.
Chief of Detectives looks a little flustered.
Ah,
Righto, my boy. How you been? Swim much?
Chief Gant, reporting for duty, sir.
Why are you saluting him, Mr. Wright?
Is Edgeworth going to be okay?
Oh, Worthy.
Oh, you know him. They're doing a little inquiry committee with him.
Sounds like an inquisition.
Yep, well, they've had no end of trouble with the boy since last year.
You mean the incident on Gourd Lake?
It doesn't look good having a top prosecutor sit in the defendant's seat, does it? And you got someone else found guilty in that case, right, Righto? Von Karma. A legend he was, undefeated in his 40-year career. But in court, you fixed it so he was caught for forging evidence.
Wait, I didn't do anything wrong. He did forge evidence.
In any case, the prosecutor's office is in a bit of turmoil, you might say. Why, they do just about anything to restore their reputation. Now, depending on what that inquiry committee decides, it could be bad for Worthy.
What?
It's downright hard, I tell ya. The detective getting killed on their turf too, I mean.
There, being the prosecutors, I assume.
Scientifically speaking, it's impossible.
Yes, but that's what the evidence is saying. Goodman was stabbed in 2 locations at the same time. That's what it says.
What evidence is this?
No, righto. I can't give away all our secrets just like that. And this in particular, well, it's a little sensitive, and I can't talk about it.
Wasn't expecting much anyway.
You know, one thing I hate most of all is hiding stuff. Secrets. Can't stand them. But you know, it's a full-time job just keeping the Chief of Detectives trap shut.
He was the one you were picking on earlier.
You saw that? Whoops.
I wonder what it was that he wanted the Chief of Detectives to do.
Let's see if we can kind of discreetly ask him.
I was wondering, could you take a look at this?
Sorry, righto. I'm through with that stuff today. Rua say. Go find the guy who can't seem to sit still out there. The busy one.
Guy who can't sit still. Does he mean Detective Gumshoe?
Either him or the dancing blue badger.
Okay.
Why not?
Well, this place is as classy today as it was yesterday.
I'm sure it'll still be just as classy tomorrow, Emma. Incidentally, Edgeworth's not here.
I'm sure he's off doing something, doing important investigations.
I hope that's what he's doing. Guess we'll have to come back. Ah. Take a look at this. Really? Oh, sorry I had to see that.
What exactly did the Chief of Police want you to do?
Oh, see over there? That's Goodman's desk. He wanted me to check it for anything that might be a clue. He took away every last piece of garbage in the trash can.
Then nothing belonging to Detective Goodman is still here.
Of course not. Well, except for this.
What? You kept something?
Sure, why not? It's not important. Didn't even finish writing it. It's a lost item report, but it's only half complete.
A lost item? Did Detective Goodman lose something?
Date on it is February 21st. I'm gonna make a note of that just in case. Should really get back to investigating the police department crime scene. Actually, I was wondering if I could ask you a favour. Well, I never thought the day would come when Wright asked me for help. I was wondering if we could investigate the evidence room. Now, Wright-o? Actually, I'm sorry. I don't need to investigate after all. Righto, please. Do I look like a selfish man? Huh? Heck, if anyone asked me, "Sir, can I borrow $50?" I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's content. Knock yourself out.
Just goes to show you, you never know until you ask.
And for you here, you can borrow this.
Hey, that is a detective's ID card, isn't it?
That's a special card for guests, so don't lose it.
Yes, sir. It's an honour.
You just run along and do your best now. Later, folks.
It looks pretty cool on my lapel, doesn't it? Just think, a real ID.
You seem happy.
Yes, sir. Because, sir, we get to go into the evidence room now, sir.
This place is a bad influence on that girl. Oh. Really did not need that week off. The evidence room is beyond that door.
We have the ID card from Chief Gant. Let's just walk in. It won't open.
Card reader is turned off, see?
What is that security guard thinking?
Howdy, partners. Well, well, what's made my Bambina's sky so grey? Officer Marshall, why does it have to be him? What's with, why does it have to be him? What's that, why does it have to be him look for? As you may have surmised, this is my saloon.
We're here to investigate the crime scene.
Yeehaw! That card you got there on your chest. That's better than a sheriff's badge in these parts.
Yeehaw?
Well, what you standing there for? Get on, little doggies. The crime scene's awaiting. Looks like the card reader's on again. While we're here, I was wondering if we could ask you some questions. Sorry, cowboy. I don't want to tangle with you hombres. You're busy then? Did I say that? I only said I don't wish to speak with you. Actually, you said you had no mind to tangle with us hombres. That smell reminds me of Texas.
So, Officer Marshall, you're from Texas?
No, I just saw a special on television the other day. Is this from my baby?
Yeah, Miss Star.
What's this?
What's wrong?
A filet steak lunch? I see.
I don't see. I wonder what he means.
Alright, Bambina, you win. Ask Finally, it seems like
He's willing to talk. Officer Marshall, you're in charge of security for the evidence room, right?
you got good eyes, partner. It's an easy job and I'm grateful for it. Actually, Officer Meekins at the detention center told us. That poor little doggy. Poor guy. Keep getting his name wrong and calling him Meekly. He told us something. He said that when the stabbing occurred, you weren't at your station. Well, maybe I shouldn't be telling you this. But since I got demoted from detective 2 years ago, well, it might not look it, but I lost my fire for the job, you know.
So, what were you doing around 5:15 when the murder took place?
Well, I reckon I was galloping down the highway on the back of my steed Zippy.
Note, he was riding down the highway on his horse named Zippy.
There's no need for people here anyhow. These newfangled machines do a bang-up job of keeping an eye on the place.
You mean the security camera system?
I don't take to machines much. Kinda like that stewed broccoli they sneak in next to your steak, you know? I know what maybe 2 of the machines in here do.
Only 2 of them? There must be dozens.
Like I said, Bambino, me and machines, well, I like them about as much as I like stewed cauliflower with mistakes. The easiest ones to understand are these here security cameras.
These are the ones that Officer Meekins mentioned.
If nothing happens, the tapes are automatically erased every few hours.
And Officer Meekins and Detective Goodman, are they on one of those tapes?
I reckon there might be.
You're a security guard and you reckon?
One more thing. When you go into the evidence room, you need an ID card.
And that's the card reader by the door.
The card reader leaves a record of every ID card passes through.
So, this is the ID card record. Hey, I've seen that somewhere before.
Sorry, Bambina. Can't show you more than that.
Huh?
I haven't heard whether this is related to the case yet.
Mr. Wright, I saw a number on that record just now. I've seen that number before.
Maybe there's some way I can prove that record is tied to the stabbing.
Miss Starr told us something. She said that you were a detective until 2 years ago.
It was always my dream to be a rawhide wrangler on the scene of the crime. That's all gone now, like a drinking hole in a prairie fire.
You're still investigating the SL9 incident with Miss Starr, aren't you?
It was my case. It's all solved on the records, where it smells like a bad game of poker. I can't let it go. That's all there is to it.
What kind of case was it anyway? We've heard the name so many times but no one tells us what actually happened.
For some things you're better off not knowing, Bambina. Anyway, that case is officially dead as of 2 days ago.
2 days ago? The day of our case?
That's right. The evidence transfers.
Edgeworth was talking about the transferals too. Sorry, but could you explain what this whole transferal thing is about?
We keep only evidence from solved cases in this room. They're kept here under the presiding detective's supervision for 2 years. So we can reinvestigate them if it turns out there was a mistake, see?
So, what happens to the evidence after 2 years?
It goes to sleep forever in the underground vault at the county sheriff's department. That's what we call transferal. We do it every February.
See now.
Transferal is like a funeral for all cases. 2 years ago, after a case is sold, 2 years after a case is sold, it's closed forever. Dead. Never to be reopened again. Never to be reinvestigated.
And that happened to the SL9 2 days ago? See this? This is the victim's ID card.
The one that was on the ground in the parking.
The number on this is 5842189. Officer Marshall, show us that ID card record again. Look, the 4th number. It's a perfect match.
It was used at
5:14, right before the stabbing.
What's more, there's only one of them cards in the vault.
So, when the incident occurred, Detective Goodman was in the evidence room.
Wait, what did Officer Meekins say?
Sir, I entered the evidence room and asked the man to display his ID card.
So you asked Detective Goodman to show his ID card? What did he do?
That's the thing. Suddenly he pointed a knife at me.
If he had his ID card, then why would he have pointed a knife at Officer Meekins? Alright, compadre, you win. I guess I can give you this ID card record. I've got an idea. Maybe I should show this list to other people with IDs here. Let's run past. It's quiet. The investigation must be over here.
So this is the evidence room. It really is kind of like a graveyard.
Graveyards are supposed to have grass and trees. This feels more like a morgue.
Nice try, Mr. Wright. You can't scare me.
Whoa!
Sorry, I thought you were a ghost.
I wouldn't recommend going around smacking ghosts on the head, pal. So, is it true what I heard?
Righto. Please, do I look like a selfish man? Heck, if anyone asked me, "Sir, can I borrow $50?" I'd give them $50, no problem. So go ahead, investigate that room to your heart's desire. Knock yourself out. Yeah, it's true.
So, Chief of Police can't. We've loaned anyone $50, even me.
Oh, so that's what you were talking about?
Actually, I was put in charge of the investigation for today.
Just for today?
Boss for a day.
Guess what? You got permission from the chief, so now you're boss for a day.
Gee, thanks.
First of all, you'll want to have this.
So, Detective Gumshoe, you're boss for the day.
That's right, it's an honour. After all, the murder took place right here in the police department.
But if you're boss, why are you all alone? Where are your underlings?
They're using yesterday's findings to prepare for trial tomorrow.
In other words, you got kicked out of the investigation. Again.
I'm adamant though. I'm going to take control and put this case to rest. In my own evidence locker, pal.
You have a locker in here too, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course, I am a detective after all. They gave me a locker that only I can open, pal.
Only you can open?
This place is more high-tech than you might think. Every locker is fixed so that only one detective can open it.
Using their ID card?
Well, that's the thing, pal. ID cards can be lost. Why, I'm on my third card since entering the force already.
It sounds like a lot.
Yeah, but even I can't lose my own right hand.
Right hand. Oh, you mean your fingerprint?
Exactly, pal. The lock for each locker is coded with a fingerprint. So the only locker we can open up is our own.
They look like normal lockers.
These are the latest model. There's a trick to the handle, see?
The handles?
On the other side of the handles is a sensor, and if the wrong person touches it,
You get shocked? You get a shock?
that's what happened. My hand will be black and smoking every day. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. I'll always believe in Mr. Edgeworth, no matter what happens.
So, Mr. Edgeworth is with the inquiry committee now, right?
We're trying to figure out who's responsible for the mess up in court today.
I see.
I guess this is what you call fate. Mr. Edgeworth just can't get away from that case.
That case?
Yeah, that case. The SL9 incident, of course. That was the beginning of the end for Mr. Edgeworth.
Maybe we can get him to tell us more about the case. Blech. I need to take a moment though to clear my throat. Would you take a look at this? This is the ID card record of the people who came in here on the day of the stabbing.
Ah, I heard the rumours. So it was Goodman who came in here at the time of the murder. Whoa!
What is it?
That second number.
Not your ID number, is it, Detective Gumshoe?
Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
The second number on this list belongs to Mr. Edgeworth.
What? Why would Edgeworth have to come to the evidence room? Would be Meekins, wouldn't it?
Detective Goodman's note and that switchblade knife. Red Edgeworth was the most surprised of anyone.
Because of the SL9 incident? Because of the SL9 connection?
That was Mr. Edgeworth's first big case, you know, 2 years ago. It was the first time the world knew Edgeworth was a man to be feared.
But why would evidence from that case turn up now?
I guess it's not over, pal. Maybe there are some loose ends left on that case. Now that was a bloody violent case.
Violent? So it was a murder.
Serial killing.
Serial killing? Maybe I don't want to get involved in this after all.
But the killer made a mistake. Mr. Edgeworth built his case around that to nab him.
This was 2 years ago.
That put Mr. Edgeworth right in the spotlight and started the rumour mill.
Rumours. That forged evidence.
Supposed to be all cleaned up with the transferal the other day. It was the last job he ever did. Detective Goodman, that is.
What do you mean?
Detective Goodman was the detective in charge of the SL9 incident, see?
Oh, so that switchblade knife. The victim took the knife out of the evidence locker himself.
What's this? Blood?
It's a little worn, but there's definitely a handprint here.
Looks like someone tried to wipe it off.
Mr. Wright, what if there are other bloodstains left in the room?
We should use our testing fluid to check it out.
Look, this one's open, and the red indicator light above the door is lit.
That locker is coded with Detective Goodman's fingerprint.
Detective Goodman's locker.
Are you sure it's okay to leave it open like that?
Well, it'd be hard to get it open again if we closed it.
It's empty. They must have taken the contents elsewhere.
Someone left a glove here, but only one.
Detective Gumshoe, maybe?
Oh, there you go, pal. Making me out to be some kind of absent-minded detective. That's evidence from the case, you know.
I mean, SL9. Does have a tag on it.
Whoa, someone must have broken something big to make all these pieces.
Detective Gumshoe, perhaps?
Oh, there you go, pal. Making me out to be some kind of hooligan. It's apparently from the case.
The case?
The SL9 incident, pal. See the sticker on one of the pieces there?
Another piece of SL9 evidence. What shape these pieces were in before whatever it was broken.
You want to try to put it back together?
Good luck, pal. That's no job for amateurs. Well, I spent a good 3 hours on that before I had to give up.
That's why I always carried around a tube of glue.
This piece looks like the bottom. Let's try putting the rest in place. I don't know how to fucking control it. It's no use. The pieces just don't add up to anything.
Maybe some of the pieces are missing? Let's just try and put as many of the pieces in place as we can.
Maybe I'll give it another shot later. I'll give it another shot now and you tell me how to fucking control the damn thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think we did it, but some of the pieces are missing.
Yeah, I got that far too in 2 minutes myself. The problem is finishing it.
Were some pieces stolen?
I bet they were missing to begin with.
Still, doesn't look like the most stable kind of jar.
Kind of understand how it got broken.
Put those pieces together, it makes a jar.
And there are two things that bother me. One, why are some of the pieces missing? Two, doesn't it seem a little unstable? No wonder it broke.
Make sure to remember it the next time I make a jar.
What is this soaring paint doing here?
Oh, since the dawn of time, true art has always been a war against oppression.
True art? I noticed that there's blue and yellow paint here. Perhaps are we witnessing the birthplace of the blue bad...
Perhaps we're witnessing the birthplace of the blue badger.
Well, you might say this is my studio.
Here, in the evidence room.
Drink.
Allow me to say one thing, speaking as a detective. I see a piece of evidence I know nothing about. I say nothing. Nothing.
That's fine.
But it's fine, pal.
That must have been one massive pool of blood. Never seen anything like it. I'm not a professional. What's your opinion, Detective?
Pale blue blood. Maybe Detective Goodman was actually an alien.
This proves that something really happened in front of this locker. I'll make a note of it in the floor plans.
Hey, if you didn't want my opinion, you shouldn't have asked.
Why am I getting a reaction here?
There's no reason for the murderer to touch this spot if he fled out the door. This just might be something significant.
Hey, that's some pretty amazing stuff you got there, pal.
What, this? It's called luminol testing fluid.
Where'd you get your hands on that?
Huh?
I'd like to get some too. I'll just borrow $50 from the chief.
Where did you get this, Emma?
I always buy it by mail order.
I'd better jot this down on the floor plans.
That
Ba-ba-ba. Officer Meekins, could you take a look at this? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Really sorry, but I have no idea what that is. Maybe you should ask Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
He's passing the buck, Mr. Wright.
Takes a special kind of man to pass the buck to Edgeworth. But it is an idea. Except he's not here. Oh, this just gets more and more annoying. Right.
You sure have a lot of monitors in here.
There's 8 cameras in the evidence room hall. No. One for each section.
Which monitor shows the section where the crime took place?
Why the camera silver before the rain comes? Not a man to know.
Unless you're the security guard responsible.
Right. There's something sticking out of here.
Looks like a shirt. I guess it must be evidence for some case.
Wonder if Detective Gumshoe put this here. There you go, pal. Making me up to be some kind of slob. I'm not responsible for the evidence here. That said, that evidence locker was opened recently.
How do you know?
Leave things hanging out like that, the evidence gets dirty or ripped. The guard checks on that kind of stuff and notifies the detective responsible. How many times have I had him breathing down my neck about some silly evidence?
Sounds like Detective Gumshoe leaves everything hanging out a lot too.
And he doesn't tuck in his shirt under that trench coat either. You're going to talk behind someone's back, do it. Don't do it right in front of them, pal.
Is that some fucking thing?
all missing. Where are you, Edgeworth? Well, where should we begin? Even that says the evidence room. What did I miss? Oh, look at everything then.
Wow, look at this big pile of junk in the corner.
Looks like cargo.
There's a pair of handcuffs attached to the frame. Maybe the guy they caught was some sort of escape artist and he got away.
Yeah, one person.
Hey, that's one of those human profiles for range testing.
He's been shot square in the forehead.
Better him than us. That's the door we just came in through.
Looks like you don't need an ID card to get out.
Wonder what would happen if Officer Marshall cut the power while we were inside.
Let's hope he remembers we're in here.
This place is stuffed with evidence, stuffed with dreams.
Not so sure about the dreams.
It won't open.
Did you really think it would? Hey pal, our security is high tech around here. Some sort of bulky equipment is gathering dust here.
What a sorry looking fishing pole that is.
Ah, it's my personal pole. I never did get around to using it.
I've seen that somewhere before.
Right, pal, that's that metal detector. The one that led to the solving of that case out on Gore Lake, remember?
All right. Well, that feels like it was ages ago. And I don't think I've seen this one before.
Oh, that's a bug sweeper. I'm sure it will come in handy in solving some case sooner or later.
Cheap looking box.
You can't judge a person or a machine by their cover. You gotta look at their heart.
Oh, never mind.
I knew it. There is someone's right handprint.
What?
What's the matter, detective?
This locker, it's mine.
It's yours?
Please. You have to help me when they come to take me away. Promise you'll testify that I wouldn't harm a fly. You'll do that for me, won't you, pals?
This is an important clue. Jot it down on the floor plans.
I'm counting on you guys. Believe me, you can't trust the police.
What? But you're a detective.
Hey, pal, look at the time.
Was there something you needed to be going to?
It's just that Mr. Edgeworth's inquiry committee should be letting out soon. I'm going to go give them my report for the day. It might help, you know.
Report? You mean the note written on the back of that flyer?
The one that says nothing but no problems?
Hey, it's Mr. Edgeworth we're talking about. I'm sure he can use a report like this. I believe in him.
Who needs enemies when you got friends like Detective Gumshoe?
I'm off, pal. Later.
I should probably see what Edgeworth has to say too.
Clearly see the goddamn
Guests, my apologies. Oh, it's you. Have we met somewhere? Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, I beg your leave. So long. Is Edgeworth here?
There, standing by the window, a teacup in his hand.
Right. He has the hotel bring him tea service?
Mr. Edgeworth, you're back from the district prosecutor's office's inquiry?
By the way, Detective Gumshoe was looking for you. Ah, yes. He brought me the latest information, it seems.
Really? Was it helpful?
Apparently a new French restaurant is opening near here. I think he was trying to console me somehow. Real info is on the other side, Edgeworth.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, I think this whole thing is really taking a toll on him.
So, how did the inquiry committee go? Actually, they decided to treat this not as a case of concealing evidence, but as a communications error during the investigation.
Concealing evidence?
Yes. Apparently there are some who believe that I concealed evidence. They gave me a warning. You were lucky this time. Again. Again? I've heard them say that so many times. Ever since that case 2 years ago. You okay for the trial tomorrow? No, I'm still the presiding prosecuting attorney. However, something happened. They gave control of the investigation over to the police department.
Police department?
Yes. Any further investigation for this case will be directed by the Chief of Police, Gant. I could do nothing but wait for his results. I say... Why, I ask you? Why? All along I've done only what I believe is right. I have nothing to be ashamed of. But still... I've never seen him this out of sorts. Oh, right. I better check this now. As I was saying, What's this? A record of ID card usage? Edgeworth, you went into the evidence room that day, didn't you? Just before the incident occurred, no less. Yes, that's true.
Why? Mr. Edgeworth.
Please don't look at me like that. I was asked to go by Chief Gant, no less.
The Chief of Police?
He wanted evidence for a case that wrapped up half a year ago. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. But it was sold, right? Would have to be if the evidence was already filed. The Chief is never one to explain himself. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here.
Can I ask you what kind of case it was?
I can't say. It really has nothing to do with the current case. I'm curious about this other case. Better make a note of it. Stubborn as always. I've told you this has nothing to do with the current case. I know you probably got a hold of some information already, right? It all has to do with that case you were on, the SL9 incident, and some dark suspicion you were wrapped up in. You are the man who revived the worst memory of my life. I figured I'd be telling you about this sooner or later. You must be talking about his father's murder in that elevator. Okay, Edgeworth. Why don't you tell me about it? Tell me the truth. The SL9 incident was a heinous serial killing case. The head of the investigation was the Deputy Chief of Police at the time, Damon Gant. That wacky old coot was involved in the case 2 years ago then. He was a top officer and it was my first time working with him. I was nervous.
Wow, you get nervous too, Mr. Edgeworth?
I want to know is, why was a Deputy Chief of Police on the investigation? In truth, I used slightly more extreme methods than normal. We were dealing with a vicious murderer. If I let him go, the blood would be on my hands. We won our guilty verdict, and the killer was executed. Wait, you didn't? Of course not. I don't touch the evidence. I didn't touch the evidence even. Yes, I will do anything in my power to win a trial. However, I do have a code, and I follow it faithfully. By the way, Emma, the Chief Prosecutor wanted to know something.
My sister? What?
If you are still studying forensic science.
Huh? Yes, of course. Why, just today Mr. Wright and I were using this.
Luminol testing fluid. Well then, you might have a use for this.
Aluminium powder for taking fingerprints?
It's been chemically treated for better adhesion.
For me? Are you sure? We are the enemy, you know.
I've no say in today's investigation. Do as you will. Edgeworth, really? No need to thank me. Here, take your powder and these fingerprint files for everyone involved. Thanks. How about giving these to Detective Gumshoe as well?
Well, let's get going. Our investigation. One last investigation. Blech.
Right. Do you seem to remember seeing a suspicious handprint somewhere?
Hey.
Evidence room.
How is this going to work in this version? Our investigation turned up a suspicious handprint.
Here, in this blood on the detective's evidence locker.
Let's use the secret weapon we just borrowed.
Right, let's get started. First, choose a finger.
Finger?
Each finger leaves behind a slightly different imprint. So let's choose the finger that will leave behind the clearest print.
Really can't tell the difference at a glance.
Quit procrastinating and choose a finger. Okay, now it's time to check for prints. Let me show you how it's done.
Emma's starting to get that sparkle in her eyes.
First, we sprinkle the aluminium powder around.
How do you do that?
See?
Looks like that did the trick.
The aluminium powder adheres completely to the print. Once the powder is well spread, just blow away the excess.
How do I do that?
It is exciting, I know. Imagine you're blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. See?
Wow, that looks fun. Might take some getting used to, though.
It's fine. It won't go up your nose or anything. You just pour the powder on thick and blow away the extra. Those are the basics of fingerprinting, Mr. Wright.
Guess I'd better give it a try.
You did it! You found one!
But this looks nothing like a fingerprint.
Now that you mention it, I guess it doesn't.
What does it mean?
I think it means we're out of luck.
Out of luck?
The person who left the handprint must have worn gloves.
Don't tell me we've been wasting our time here.
Hey, calm down. That's just the way it goes sometimes with scientific investigations. But it does seem a shame. While we're at it, why don't we look for other prints?
Other prints?
Looking at the locker door again. Look at the locker door again closely.
Seems there are fingerprints outside.
Seems like there are fingerprints outside the bloody handprint as well. Let's see if we can find a clear print.
Fingerprints outside the blood. Clear print.
Yay! A print so clear it's dazzling.
Dazzling?
Anyway, this print took a lot of effort to find. Let's match it up right away.
So we're not done yet. This is quite a process.
Well, there's no point in finding a fingerprint and not knowing who the owner is, right?
Guess she's right.
Look at the fingerprint data we got from Mr. Edgeworth and point out the person you think left these prints.
How am I supposed to know who it was?
I could make a pretty good guess. The bloody handprint and the fingerprint are in different places, right? That means that the print probably didn't have anything to do with our case. Now, whose fingerprints would we most likely find on this evidence locker?
Considering that's come gumshoes.
So these prints belong to Detective Gumshoes. Something wrong, Mr. Wright. You gave me this so what look.
Guess that's probably because I was thinking, so what?
Okay, so we came up with nothing this time, but there's always next time. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss. You gotta roll with the punches, Mr. Wright.
Thanks for the sympathy. Wait, if I remember correctly, there was one other handprint in this room. Let's check it out. This is where we got the luminol. This is where we got a luminol fluid reaction, right?
Right, there was a handprint here. Okay, want to try using this?
Make our eyes sparkling again. Okay, let's check for prints.
That's the spirit. Oh, but I have to warn you about something first.
What?
The area with the blood was wiped away, right? You only ended up finding it using chemical means. Any prints in that area would have been wiped away too.
Oh, right. So that means no prints.
Would you say the probability of your hypothesis is high?
Don't ask me.
Anyway, we must try to find prints that weren't wiped away.
Prints other than ones. Prints other than bleh. Prints other than the ones left by the bloody hand.
Maybe around here.
So much of the goddamn stuff. Do-do-do-do. Hey, these fingerprints, they're...
Whose are they? Whose? Is it someone I know?
It's Officer Marshall.
Huh? Officer Jake Marshall? That's got to be a coincidence. He's not involved in the crime.
Emma? This is decidedly different from Detective Gumshoe's print. A luminol reaction. The blood and the fingerprints are in the same place.
Oh,
So we have Jake Marshall's fingerprints on a wiped blood stain.
I would, Officer Marshall.
Looks like our investigation is finally turning up some results.
Yes, this is what you call decisive
I guess this is what you call decisive evidence. Really need to read the name of the person speaking first.
I don't believe it.
I... Ugh. Once again, I really did not need that week off. Well, that forced week off, I should say. But I'm better-ish now. So, I know there's one more day of investigation to go, but we're going to stop here for now and we're going to finish the rest of the trial tomorrow. Because I should be able to do it then. So, for now, bye.